Alright, I know I haven't dropped a video like this in a good minute, and I know I'm probably a little quiet. Everybody in my house is sleeping, but I'm already up, and I might as well do this video. So you clicked on this obviously because you wanted to know what I thought about the new hero Vendetta on Overwatch, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I think she's going to get nerfed to the ground. I understand we're in a test phase right now, so I'm not too critical about it, but there's a couple things I really think that they really fucked up on, and I have some footage to back it up. Right off the bat, Vendetta is probably the most commanding DPS I've seen ever. Like, there is maybe a handful of DPS who are as commanding as her in a fight because of the amount of DPS she can put out. Again, take all of this with a grain of salt. I understand that we're in a test phase. Hitbox on her ult is insane. The line that's shown, it's pretty big, and the fact that it's an arcing line, meaning that area of denial also goes into the air, is crazy. But I understand the idea. It's so thin, you can technically move out of the way, right? No. The hitbox is also much thicker than you would imagine. Because of the way the visuals work within Overwatch 2 and how perspective works within a character, it does actually match up, but from perspective, it looks a lot thinner than the actual hitboxes, and that's a fucking problem, because it's for the people who see it and the people who are trying to avoid it. It's the same problem. In fact, here's a couple clips of what I'm talking about from last night when I was playing with Vendetta. It's pretty apparent what I'm talking about. Not only that, too much damage. You know, the best way I could describe her combo efficiency is like old DPS Doom. It's just, you do a simple, not I say simple, but she is very complicated as a DPS, and I think that's going to be a very good skill ceiling. The problem is, it feels a little too low. Like, her complexity is there, but I feel like it's still too simple, if that makes sense. Also, hyper aggressive. This is a brawling tank's best friend. You pair an Orisa and her Junker Queen with a Vendetta, you have a nightmare for any other tank that has to kind of be attentive of their positioning, like Doomfist. Doomfist gets dogged on by this because Vendetta is so aggressive when it comes to diving. And you have like a JQ that could displace him here and there, or an Orisa that could pin him. You just give the tank one Vendetta and a support with far enough range to keep you both sustained, you can eat the whole team with just 2 players. Also, consistently, the snowball that Vendetta could do alone is scary. Within 2 kills, you're already able to snowball the rest of the team with her Predator passive. I think it's called the Predator passive, which I like the idea of it because it reminds me of Rengar from League. That's also one thing. She's just Rengar from League. Like, it is hilarious. It is just Rengar from League. It's crazy to me. And one major thing that I've been talking about, and some people have disagreed with me, some people agree with me, Vendetta is literally just a tank. Her playstyle feels like it would be a tank. You can, tweak her around just a little bit in certain parts, give her like 400 health, 300 of it being armor, and then 100 being regular health, reduce the mobility range or the damage or whatever, and you just make a crazy brawling tank. And I think that's what the problem is that she feels like she could be a tank. Obviously, she doesn't have the chunk of a tank, but the sword damage negation is actually pretty impressive, especially against like high power attacks. Like, I was noticing that Zenyatta's even full burst charging couldn't really hurt me at all, which, that's kind of what damage reduction does. But I still do think Ramatra's defense is a lot better. I like his a lot more, but that's just me. That's just personal preference. Vendetta has consistently shown that, like, there is a massive imbalance in what the Overwatch devs think should be in the game to what would actually be healthy for the game. Also, my thing is, Brawl has been very weird for the last few years, right? Brawl, in my opinion, had died in its true form and then went to hybrid Brawl. So, like, people like Reinhardt obviously suffered, and you can still play Reinhardt in the modern day. It's very difficult. You need to have rush, or you need to have DPS that are ready to dogpile on whatever you're trying to do just to keep you alive. And supports, pretty much you just need to move alone with the tank instead of like, hey, people can kind of cover on them bases. Sometimes you need to only move with the tank in order to, truly get the most out of Reinhardt, which, teach their own. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't. That's why I like playing people like Ram or Sig. Ram and Sig are arguably the best tanks in the game. I understand there's people who think Junker Queen is, and I get it, or Doom is, and I get it, but I do think Ram and Sigma are the two best and healthiest tanks in the game, just because it's the perfect form of brawl for the new age. Ramatra more than Sig. Sigma is a very corner fighting, like, I'm gonna fucking get you when I peek kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it. But the crazy thing is, a DPS is going to drop, has so much damage, so much commanding force in a fight, and it feels like a tank, but it's not a tank. And people may say I'm stupid for this take, but I genuinely do feel Vendetta plays like a tank, and it's so weird. Like I mainly don't play DPS, right? I don't have the mindset for DPS. I'm very tank brained. My whole center is playing tank. I'm a very good tank. Like, I'm always attentive of my backline. I'm always taking care of my healers. But with Vendetta, I almost have the exact same feel I would on a mix of Doom, Junker Queen, and like Reinhardt. And I feel like I'm playing a tank. And the crazy thing is, I have the longevity of a tank sometimes. Obviously, not like the durability, but like I'm able to last in areas a lot longer than other tanks would, and it's or other DPS would, and it's crazy. And I get it. Her whole thing is being hyper dive. Like she is designed to isolate and dive, which isolating dive just turns into glass cannon like field. So it's like, hey, my whole thing is that I can take on one person always, no matter who it is. And that's a really interesting thing because I don't think we have many of that. Maybe one instance, but I can't really think of it. Like, all of the dive characters have the mobility to move around in a fight and, like, maneuver it. And, take Reaper. Reaper's a very prominent character in dive, right? His whole thing is that, like, hey, I'm a tank shredder. I can counter specific tanks very easily. And when in conjunction with the rest of a dive team, I'm very effective on handling anybody, right? And he can kind of maneuver a multiple person fight and kind of ensure his longevity or his life. Venture can do that in occasion. If in a fight and it turns into a brawl, Venture could do some very funny stuff. Do I keep saying Venture? I mean Vendetta. Vendetta can do some very interesting stuff where I've noticed, like, hey, if you slip behind the back line like a Doom would and then just cut right through the whole crowd with your shift, and then when you're back on your side, guard slash, and then E the hop jump, and then heavy slash down, you're killing at least two people. Like, I've had that happen consistently, and it's kind of crazy. And then once you get her ult, if the team fight is already conjuncted enough, you kind of peel back, E high, and then you're above everybody. You charge, however big that thing. Also, the normal slash is too big to begin with. Like the slash you do with the overhead and then the slam, too big. Like, I think it's too big. I think it's crazy. But, and also how big her ult gets, it's crazy. It is crazy. Like, the hitbox on that ult is insane. And I didn't realize, I thought it was going to be like a sweep. So like she like pulls up and then like stops at one point here, but I didn't realize it was overhead. So I was playing Pharah yesterday and I'm like, oh, like she's a melee, like she's not going to be a problem for me. And then I see her go up in the air. I'm like, oh, she's going to slice like upward, not downward. And then I just got cut out of the fucking sky. And that shit, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. She's a very interesting character. I see a lot of prominence with her. She's obviously going to be meta for certain brawl and diving tactics. I don't think she's going to be. I I know they're gonna nerf her into the ground. Like she's getting nerfed to unfathomable extents, and people are gonna be mad about it, obviously. But I think it's just for the, the safety of the fucking game, because if she stays in current form, game's cooked. She's very like, to sum it all up, she's very commanding for a DPS, and I have not seen that ever. Maybe Freyja. Freyja is very commanding, but not as much. Also because she doesn't turn into like a mini raid boss, you know? She just kind of annoys me when I'm on Winston because she's just like zipping around. But yeah, Blizzard, please don't fucking kill your game again. Again. I'm kind of enjoying it. So, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I realize today's Thanksgiving, so I'm probably gonna go eat turkey eventually at some point of the day. But yeah, also I'm in I almost said Fort Lauderdale. I'm back in Florida. I'll post a video explaining everything that's been going on as of late. I haven't really done much to explain what's been happening, but you know that's how things go. But appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Deuces.